Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I never imagined that a single sentence could stop a man worth hundreds of millions of dollars dead in his tracks. But that's exactly what happened on a quiet, gray afternoon in a neighborhood where nothing unexpected ever seemed to occur. The words were simple, almost desperate, spoken so softly they nearly dissolved into the air. Can I clean your house for a plate of food? And yet, when the millionaire standing in that doorway really looked at the woman who asked them, his entire world tilted, memories he had buried deep clawing their way back to the surface. The woman stood on the front step with her hands folded together, knuckles pale, her shoulders slightly hunched, as if she had learned long ago how to make herself small. Her clothes were clean but clearly worn, patched carefully at the seams, and her shoes had soles so thin they looked more like a memory of shoes than the real thing. Her hair was pulled back in a loose, uneven tie, strands escaping and framing a face marked by exhaustion and quiet determination. She didn't look up at first. People like her rarely did. Looking up too often meant meeting eyes that slid away, or worse, eyes that looked right through you. Inside the house, everything was polished to a shine. Marble floors reflected the soft glow of the chandelier overhead. The air smelled faintly of lemon and expensive wood polish. This was the home of Richard Hale, a self-made millionaire known in business circles for his cold precision and relentless ambition. He had built his empire from nothing, or at least that's what he told people. The truth was more complicated, but like many truths, it had been carefully edited over time. Richard had been on his way out, keys already in his hand, mind running through numbers and meetings and contracts. When he heard the knock, annoyance had flickered across his face. He wasn't expecting anyone. When he opened the door, he was ready to dismiss a salesperson or fundraiser with a practiced smile and a firm no. Instead, he found himself staring at a woman who seemed oddly familiar in a way that made his chest tighten. She finally lifted her eyes, and that's when it happened. Richard froze. For a moment, the world around him faded. The gleaming hallway, the distant hum of traffic, even the weight of the keys in his hand, disappeared. All he could see were her eyes. They were the same shade of brown he had seen reflected in a cracked mirror decades ago. The same eyes that used to look at him with a mixture of hope and fear during nights when hunger gnawed at their stomachs and sleep came in short, uneasy bursts. The woman noticed his reaction and immediately looked away, embarrassment flushing her cheeks. "I'm sorry," she said quickly. "I didn't mean to bother you. I can leave. I thought I'd ask." Her voice trembled slightly, but there was dignity in it too, the kind that comes from someone who has asked for help before and learned how to do it without begging. She turned as if to go, already bracing herself for rejection. "Wait," Richard said, the word slipping out before he had time to think. It sounded strange to his own ears, rough and uncertain. He hadn't spoken like that in years. She paused, one foot already on the step, and glanced back at him. Yes, he swallowed hard. Up close, the resemblance was impossible to ignore. The curve of her cheek, the faint scar near her eyebrow, the way she tilted her head when she was unsure. His heart began to pound, not with fear, but with something far heavier, guilt. "How did you end up here?" he asked, though the question made little sense even to him. She gave a small, tired smile. "I walk," she said simply. "I ask, sometimes people say yes. Mostly they don't." Richard stepped aside without quite knowing why. "Come in," he said. Her eyes widened in surprise. "I don't want to impose. I can clean outside if you'd prefer. Windows, porch, anything." "No," he replied, a little too quickly. "It's fine. Please, come in." She hesitated, then stepped carefully onto the marble floor, as if afraid her presence might stain it. Richard closed the door behind her, the click echoing through the large space. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The silence was thick, filled with unasked questions and memories that refused to stay buried. "My name is Clara," she said at last, breaking the tension. "I won't take much of your time. Just tell me what you need done." Richard stared at her, his mind racing. Clara, the name hit him like a punch. He remembered whispering that name into the darkness of a tiny, cold apartment. Remembered promising a young girl that things would get better, that he would take care of her, that he would never leave her behind. "How old are you?" he asked quietly. She frowned, clearly confused by the question. 42, she answered. "Why?" Richard's breath caught. The math lined up too perfectly to ignore. His hands began to shake, and he shoved them into his pockets to hide it. Do you have any family?" he asked. Clara's gaze dropped to the floor. "Not really," she said. "Not anymore." The words echoed painfully in Richard's chest. He nodded, as if confirming something he had already known but never wanted to face. He gestured vaguely toward the living room. "Please," he said, "sit down for a moment." She perched on the edge of the sofa, posture straight, hands folded in her lap. She looked like someone waiting to be told whether they were welcome or not. Richard paced the room, his polished shoes whispering against the floor. "I owe you an apology," he said suddenly. Her head snapped up. "You don't owe me anything," she said quickly. "I asked you for help, not the other way around." "Yes," he said softly, "I do." He stopped pacing and stood in front of her. His voice was thick when he spoke again. "Clara, do you remember a boy named Richard?" Your brother?" Her face drained of color. For a long moment, she didn't respond. Then her eyes filled with tears, and she shook her head slowly. "My brother is gone," she whispered. "He left a long time ago." "I didn't leave," Richard said, though the words felt like a lie even as he spoke them. "Not the way you think. I was taken, foster care. I tried to find you, but I was a kid. Then things happened. Life happened." Clara stood abruptly, backing away from him. "No," she said, her voice breaking. "No, that's not possible. He wouldn't just forget me." "I didn't forget," Richard said, his own eyes burning. "I never forgot. I just convinced myself that you were better off without me, that I didn't deserve to look for you." She laughed bitterly, a sound that held years of pain. "Better off," she said. "I slept in shelters. I worked myself sick. I asked strangers for food, and you think I was better off." The words hit him harder than any accusation ever could. Richard sank into a chair, the weight of his past crashing down on him all at once. "I'm so sorry," he whispered. "I was young and scared, and then I became successful, and I was ashamed. Ashamed of where I came from, ashamed of who I left behind." Tears streamed down Clara's face, now unchecked. "I thought you didn't care," she said. "I thought I wasn't enough for you to come back. You were everything," Richard said. "You still are." The room was silent except for their uneven breathing. Years of separation, misunderstanding, and pain hung between them like a fragile bridge. Slowly, Clara sank back onto the sofa, her strength seemingly drained. "I came here for food," she said quietly. "Not answers. Not memories." Richard stood and walked toward the kitchen. He moved like a man in a dream, opening cabinets, pulling out ingredients, his hands working automatically. He cooked like someone possessed, preparing dishes he remembered from their childhood. Recipes born from necessity and shared hunger. When he returned, he set the plate gently in front of her. She stared at it, then at him. "You don't have to do this," she said. "I know," he replied, "but I want to." She ate slowly, savoring each bite, tears dripping onto the plate. Richard watched her, his heart aching. This was not charity. This was restitution, though he knew no amount of food or money could ever fully repay what he had taken from her. When she finished, he sat across from her. "You're not cleaning my house," he said firmly. Her shoulders tensed. "Then I should go." "No," he said. "You're staying. If you want, not as help, as family." She looked at him with disbelief. "You think you can fix everything with a big house and a plate of food?" "No," he said honestly, "but I can try to be here now, if you'll let me." Clara studied his face, searching for the boy she once knew beneath the suit and the wealth and the years of regret. Slowly, cautiously, she nodded. "I don't know how to forgive you," she said, "but I don't want to be alone anymore." Neither do I, Richard thought, but he didn't say it out loud. Some truths didn't need words. That day marked the beginning of something fragile and uncertain, but real. The woman who knocked on his door for a plate of food did not leave as a cleaner. She left as his sister, carrying not just a full stomach, but the first fragile hope she had felt in years. And the millionaire who froze at the sight of her learned that no amount of money could ever buy back time. But sometimes, if you were brave enough to face the past, it could help you build a future.